This is Joe Castello's WFO Radio Ignition. Covering everything that has wheels, an engine, and a driver.
The reason I race is to get the chicks. You know what I mean?
NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, sports cars, and NHRA drag racing.
Hey, guys, just want to let you know, WFO rocks.
WFO Radio is total motorsports.
It's just so cool.
Fasten your seatbelts, fire up the ignition, and drop the hammer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, here's your host, Joe Castello.
WFO, it is the holiday edition, as in the last show of the 2018 season. That's right, everybody. Joe Castello here with you, along with Giovanni in Miami, and we have got a whole lot of nothing to talk about. Now, we're going to get into it here on this edition of the WFO Ignition podcast about many very pressing and important issues, like the keto diet and how it's gone down in flames in 1 hour. I thought, man, I'll do this keto thing. Nope. Our great friend Joe Rodriguez comes in with spaghetti and meatballs, and Poker Action Line had their holiday party just hours ago, just moments ago, and it was great. And we're going to keep that going here on Ignition. And so what we're going to do is we're going to open the phones immediately, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen. It could be chaos. It could be nothing. You would think, though, since I put it out on the social media, I said, hey, the big Ignition holiday party featuring open phones is going to go down, that all of our, everybody that loves us would want to call in and say, what's up? And so I'm thinking they're all going to call in at the exact same moment. I'm only going to be able to take one call at a time, and then nobody's going to call after that for the rest of the show. The good news is we have the Gentleman Jack, brought here by Elephant Racers.
Which was very good, actually.
And
quite surprising.
We have the Money Man Corsair Armageddon, which we've got, and we're going to have fun. And there's lots of great subjects to discuss, like a lot of just really great subjects to talk about, like our great sponsors, RoadAxeCoffeeandGrills.com. I used Marvin. That's it. Period. End of story. No, I asked Marvin. We did the holiday packs and sent them out, and I already have received some responses. How he was able to get them out so rapidly, I have no idea. But, and it was just amazing. Thank you for the wonderful gift. I can't believe it. I knew something fantastic was in the box immediately when it arrived. This is great. So all of you, like, late in the going people, like me, because I got all my, work colleagues, like that kind of stuff, show sponsors, they're all taken care of. But, like, personal friends, no, man. No. Slash, the parents, the Giovannis, nothing. Nobody's got anything. I'm starting to feel the pressure. A lot. But I digress. RoadAxeCoffeeandGrills.com, of course, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure, Samtech.edu, Motorsportsguys.com, Aerospace Components, Hangstifer's Metalworking Lubricants, CatspotLitter.com, Hussey Performance, Audible.com/WFO Nitro. Everybody teaming up to support WFO in 2018. We would hope that you will support them in 2019. Can you believe that 2019 is right around the corner? Like it's in 2 weeks, 2 Mondays. This next Monday is Christmas. The following Monday is New Year's. And then we're into 2019 and beyond.
Unbelievable.
Incredibly.
It really is. Well, I believe it was, a week ago or 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago that I realized that there was only 2 weeks left before we got into the New Year's and Christmas weeks. And
only 2 weeks left. And what was it? In the immortal words of Steve Miller. What is it?
Take the money and run?
No.
Oh, okay.
Time keeps on
ticking
into the future. Right. And that's what's going on. The immortal words of Steve Miller. And that's just the way it is. And you can't stop it. And there's nothing you can do. Now, on the show, we're going to delve into many different areas and arenas that we have no idea what it is just now, because we are unprepared. And those are the best shows with little preparation. We were looking at the NASCAR news and the different stuff. And yeah, there's some here and there. But right now, the most pressing thing that is going on for many folks, including our own Giovanni in Miami, and I want you all to be able to enjoy this along with me, is fantasy football playoffs. It's very sports collision, but it is also very true. Giovanni, you are watching with great hope and bright eyes at the hope of a new day. It's not looking great, though.
Well, it has not been looking great, actually, but halfway through this game, I'm still in it. I have a slight lead on my opponent, and I was a very big underdog coming in as I am playing in, I guess this would be a semifinal game, the championship, I guess it would be like the conference championship.
Yeah.
Against the number 1 seed.
You're at the Final Four.
I am in the Final Four, correct. The other side was already decided yesterday. And on this side, I have a slight lead, still maintaining a slight lead over the opponent who has a lot of players going, and I only have my kicker going.
But you have the lead.
But right now, I still have the lead halfway through this game.
And he's kicked 2 field goals for you.
He has. So my kicker right now has been able to maintain for me, let's say.
And for those that are interested,
if the second half of this game goes the way the first half went, then I will advance.
And I would imagine the way these shows go typically.
We should find out before the end of the show or right around then, so yeah.
Which is why I wanted to bring everybody in. We don't normally like to time stamp the show. This show will be great entertainment for you to listen to all week and weeks into the future.
Well, and especially if it starts getting a little hairy there at the end in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely.
And it's coming down to it.
There is 13 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
So the second half basically just started.
The full second half of the game. And Giovanni has the lead. And what are the stakes? People need to know what the stakes are. This is a long-time league, a 10-year league. I used to be in this league for many years. I was in there for like 4 or 5 years. And I decided to get out. To get out. I used to play fantasy football. I used to play fantasy football only. And I realized it was too much effort for what I wanted to put in. Now, other people, they all determine, how much effort they have to put in. I decided it was not, I needed to get out, and I got out. And somebody rapidly took my spot because the person who is a longtime friend of Giovanni goes over the top. He's one of these crazies. There's a championship ring. The winner gets a considerable payout.
Yes,
you don't have to say what it is.
Yeah, no.
You're not like Stu Gatz in a $10,000 fantasy
No,
league.
it is not a $10,000 fantasy league, but let's just say that the winner's payout is 4 figures.
See? Wow. Man, I hope you get that. I hope you get that. That would be good.
Well, I would just be happy, to be honest with you, winning this game and making it to the final because I would cash. The second place gets a decent payout also.
Right. And so what you're rooting for now is for Drew Brees to, drive it down the field and then stall out.
And then a bunch of field goals.
Right. 48,
right.
51.
A 50-yarder is great, a 40-yarder, but even a regular 30, regular 3-point field goals. But in this particular league, like a 40 to 49-yard field goal is worth 4 points. 50 to 59 would be 5, and 60 is 6 points. Years ago, I believe most leagues do it that way now than just a regular 3 points for a field goal.
And at the same time, for you older types out there, old school men, when men were men, and think that this is all silliness, yes, this is what has happened to America.
It is, but this is why people eyes are on the TVs, and
that's it. The media is sick and needs help badly. All right, so I would like for you to send out the push notification.
One push
that alerts everybody to the phones being open. And I've already got, a couple of, people have been, they've been suggesting they want to call in and that I never give the push notification at the right time, et cetera, and so on. And so this show is going to be controlled by the audience. And everybody in the audience is going to, direct the show. Direct the show. And so that's what we're going to be doing, directing the show. Now, last week, there was no show. And you might be wondering why, and I'm going to own up to that one. That one is on me, all my responsibility. You may recall we had the Performance Racing Industry Trade Show in Indianapolis, Indiana, and it was, very busy. It was a grind. It was great. It was interesting. There's so many different things going on that I could discuss in great detail. Most importantly, you did get an NHRA Nitro show, and it was really good. We had a lot of fun. The NHRA Nitro show. It was good. Who was on it? Tanner Gray and Paul Nero. The Parade of Champions continued.
Don
O'Neill from the PRI show with a big breaking news story. Don O'Neill. It was all great stuff.
NGK plugs?
Yes. And, as a top sportsman racer, that is incredible. And, in fact, later this week on NHRA Nitro, we will have, I believe, the final champions. We'll have Matt Smith will be on the show and Brian McClanahan. So Stock Eliminator.
Is that it? Is that
and
every,
Pro Stock
every,
Motorcycle.
every champion that we
think
could
it
think
is.
of?
Yes, it is. We were very efficient this year.
Yeah.
No, actually, it's not.
Oh, okay.
No. I just thought of two guys that. Well, Sean Bellemere was on right
Well,
after he won the title.
But to be fair, he was the first one.
He was the first
before the parade actually even began.
Yes. So there's an asterisk. We did have Sean Bellemere on the show. I did want to get him on one more time as a did it all sink in kind of thing. I figured I would allow Sean Bellemere and Joey Severance to be the champions that extend into the new year. Because we got to have something for January. Got to have some star power.
Yeah, we got to kick off the first week with some.
Kick it off the first week with some star power. And so that will probably be what ends up happening. But PRI was great, but then came back here to sunny South Florida for like 2 days and then back up to Johnson City, Tennessee for Performance TV. Now on Motor Trend television. Velocity Network has changed names. It's now Motor Trend. And the showtime is 8:30 a.m. Sunday morning Eastern Time. So we would like everybody.
That's a good time for me, Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
Yeah.
It was a big debate. Is Saturday better? Is Sunday better? And Tommy Johnson Jr. told me his opinion that it was Sunday was better. That more people are just kind of lounging with the tube on Sunday morning at 8:30. And you may recall Alan Reinhart just a week ago was saying that there's nothing on Sunday morning either. And so that is great. It'll be Sunday, race day. I'll be at the track. I'll be tweeting out, hey, watch Performance TV for the first 6 months of 2019. Kathy Fisher, myself, we had fun. We were running all over PRI. It was great. And I went up to Johnson City, Tennessee, and I got there on Monday after a 8-hour travel experience. And the voice, man, the voice. I was like Johnny Fontaine. Godfather, my voice is weak, Godfather. You could act like a man. And I could tell the voice was it needed rest. It needed rest. And so Giovanni is on. He's saying, we got to do the show, man. The listeners, they need us. And I was like, yes, but can't do it. And I pulled the plug. And that was all me. So if you missed out on the show last week, it's all me. But the good news is we're sending the open phones line right now for the big holiday party. And Giovanni is going to be supplying the holiday music. Look at this.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready to go with holiday music.
Are you?
I got the special music
because I stalled for
the
first 13 minutes of the show.
You see, it's cold outside.
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
You can't play too much of this.
I gotta go
But
away.
baby, it's cold
All right, that's
outside.
enough. You got to bring
All
that
right,
down,
that's
man.
it.
Bring that
Well,
down.
I was just mentioning that it's cold outside even here in sunny South Florida.
You've been really on this, and it's good that this is coming up because this is on my mind, too.
That it's cold outside?
No, the whole controversy about this song. I really think that this is, we often say, we don't talk politics here on the show. We don't. We don't because why? Like someone's going to get angry, someone's going to get mad, no one's going to agree. That's not why we're here. There's a whole bunch of things. Not that I don't care about it. I do. But this is not the place for it. And so that's fine. But I don't think that's politics. I think that's a cultural phenomenon. People debating whether something is good or bad or otherwise, and a lot of people making points. And I have my opinion on the points. And my opinion, frankly, right off the bat is, no, man, play the song. Play the song. Play the song. Why play the song? And we can get into that a little bit later on in the show. But play the song.
Okay.
And, to go a little more deeply into it, I kind of just went right to the end of it because that's what we do, WFO. But it's important for people to know that culture has changed. That was a totally normal and acceptable song for, 50 years?
It still is.
Well, no, people are reading into it based on their new information. That's what it is. They're taking all the things that they have had happen, every terrible story, every Mickey that was slipped into something, the Bill Cosby stuff. They're taking all of that information and they're retroactively applying it.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Did Bill Cosby ruin It's Cold Outside?
Let me tell you.
I hadn't even considered that was the reason
Well,
why.
of course. It's part of it. It's part of a much larger thing. But yes, people taking every negative news story that they've heard over the last 20 years or 10 years and then listening again and applying that new information to something that happened in the past. Hey, what's in this drink? Or something like that. And it's obvious it's liquor. It's something like she's talking about what the liquor is. Like, oh, this is stiff. This has got some sort of kick to it. And they're assuming, no, there's some sort of a drug in there. And this guy is trying to do some. And back then, all the stuff you're thinking about is happening was not even happening. You talk to those old types, man, it wasn't as free as it is these days.
Look, this falls under the whole premise.
Nobody was swiping right.
Well, the misrepresentation or the misinterpretation of the song falls very much under the whole joke that we did one day here about the Karate Kid, where Johnny is actually the victim of Daniel LaRusso.
Well, he is, of course.
Right.
As indicated by the YouTube series that followed immediately afterwards. We all know this.
And therefore, I believe some of these things have fallen kind of like that, where people are now reading into something that isn't actually there, because we're talking about an era that was 50, 60 years ago, and many things were different, not just in our culture, but the vernacular and all of these things.
You could call someone gay, and it was a great compliment.
Yes.
Which it still is, by the way. It can be a great compliment to some people. That's not what I meant. Oh, see, look, I'm in trouble. That's it. Off the air.
That's it.
Yeah.
They're taking us away. But it really is that. All right? Like, you can't use today's sensibilities on things that happened many, many years ago.
The context just doesn't work.
The context has changed.
It just doesn't work. You can't do it, and it's a shame, and it's sad. But it's good, though, and I will get back into that. But we are taking our first call of the WFO Ignition holiday party. You should have a fantastic sound effect for this moment, but you can start at the next caller. Hello, sir. Who's this?
Hey, this is Deep and Hot calling.
Deep and Hawk on the air. Boy, this was a long time coming, man. I know we have been not really accessible, but here it is. It's happening. How are you?
Hey, absolutely excellent. And I just wanted to say, hey, WFO World is just fine. And I know you're busy, but we appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you very much. Don't go running off now. It sounds like you're ready to dart out of here. No, we got to extract some entertainment out of you. Thank you for saying that, though. It was a very busy 2018. Had a great time doing it. Really ran all over the place, but had a whole lot of fun. I want to thank you for posting on our Facebook page and Facebook group especially. You did a great job. I believe Giovanni was very entertained by the woman trying to put gasoline in her Tesla. I don't know if that was one of yours.
Yes.
But excellent work.
It just, I was going to say, the only thing that made it better is if she had one of those 710 oil caps.
Yeah, exactly. But bottom line, though, those things are becoming more and more prevalent.
Absolutely, and I think there's a place for them too. I was looking at the Formula E plans for their growth, and that actually looks pretty entertaining.
The super lane?
Yeah, just the whole format of it is it's evolving, and I think they need to evolve as a entertainment venue. And I think they're doing the right things to get some people to look at it.
I would go. I mean, I would not reject it. I'm not rejecting anything just because it's electric. I would go check it out. It's unfortunate they did have a Formula E event here in Miami a couple of years ago, but it was directly against the Gator Nationals. And so, that wasn't happening. I do have questions about the speed and the sound and the switching of cars, but I'm interested. Amanda Busick has been doing some of the reporting from those events, and which is a great gig for her. She gets to go international and follow the tour and all that. And she's been, giving me some info, and it sounds pretty cool. And now with their new super high-performance passing lane, which is like Mario Kart, it's very video game-like, which is, it sounds interesting. The kids will like it.
Well, I like the way you, with your concept on the podcast, you say, hey, it's the WFO universe. it's all motorsports. It's not just one thing. And yeah, you specialize a little bit in drag racing and a little bit on NASCAR, but those are the big dogs in North America. But in the world, there's a lot of different kinds of racing out there, and if it's loud and if it's fast, I'm interested. So I always pay. And some of your really good listeners on WFO or participants even on the website, man, you've got dirt track racers, you've got hydroplane racers, you've got land speed racers, you've got drag racers. It is a great format for people that really like motorsports, all type of motorsports, to be able to come and chat about it. So I kind of like the idea of a party. I just wish I could be there to party with you.
Oh, yeah, no, we're here. We're having a party, and we're serving up the beverages sent in by Dan Elephant Racers a couple of weeks ago when he was here. Now, I noticed you mentioned Facebook Live. I want to address that. You mentioned it on our group communication, like, will there be a Facebook Live? And the answer is no, there is not a Facebook Live. However, that is one of our future 2019, WFO 2019 initiatives to ramp back up the Facebook Lives at a quality that I deem acceptable to the show. You know, like the previous, we were doing it with the Meerkat and all, and it just didn't feel that great. It looked kind of casual and just like the internet was dropping out and we were having all those issues. We are going to really invest in that in 2019, and Giovanni is going to school to be trained to be the the Mouseketeer that does all that stuff, and so I'm hoping to do more with Facebook Live in 2019. You know what ended up happening is we started going on Facebook Live, and I would see Jerry Savoy and all these people that are our Facebook friends that I really want to we feel like our show is really entertaining, but the Facebook Live was just so. So we want to double down and make it better.
Well, I think the technology is actually changing so fast too. Facebook might not be the ideal venue for it. All I can say is, as a consumer of the entertainment product that you provide, I enjoyed sitting there and watching it. Even if you call in and you have to kind of not look at the screen while you're trying to talk because of the time delay or whatever, I actually enjoy watching the live conversation. And that part's good. So wherever it ends up being, hey, that's fine. I just kind of miss it when I can't see your ugly face and see Gio making fun of you.
That's so true. You're not the only one. I know that is a fact. And so there you go. All right, so give me a couple of big motorsport stories of 2018 that stood out in your mind.
Oh, there's a ton of them. I mean, when you talk about you hype the countdown. The clean sweep of the countdown on Top Fuel. I mean, that was actually pretty awesome. I mean, you were watching and part of history as it happens. I think probably some of the bigger stories we're starting to see some of the passing of some of the greats, and I go back to the 60s and 70s because I'm not a young chick myself anymore, but some of these guys that are going now are guys that I cut my teeth on when I was a kid. They were my heroes growing up, and it's hard to watch some of this stuff last. But to see the young guns coming up in NHRA and watching them step forward, I think that's great. So I think the sport's viable. It's exciting, and there's still a lot going on. So I'm still even after decades, I'm still a huge fan of drag racing.
Oh, yeah. Me too. And there's always a big debate back and forth, the way it was, the way it is, the way it will be. And, sometimes I get a little annoyed about some of the older, and I just say older, let's call veteran more experience. And, for lack of a better term, crapping on what's happening now. And I get it. Because you look at the cars, and the cars back then were like these just spectacular, I don't want to say a death trap, but like, wow, look at that thing, man. Really? That thing's going to go 220 miles an hour? Oh, my gosh, there's fire coming out of it and flames, and there's like a muffler tube roll bar and all that. And so, yes, I totally get it. Lacquer paint and all that. I totally get it. But at the same time, because it was new, there was nobody like saying, back in my day, ... because there was nobody back in my day. It was new. And so, of course, it was cool. Now the young people, I think about, Krista Baldwin and the Mihalik brothers and everybody that's, trying to get into it now. There are people out there that are like, yeah, it sucks. But it doesn't. Not for them. They love it.
I think as far as like historical growth or change in drag racing, I think it used to be, if you go back to the earlier days, the technology was developing so fast and there really weren't any rules. They had some basic rules, but it was pretty wide open. If you had an idea, you could try it. And I think that's kind of gotten lost in the shuffle now, where all the vehicles are pretty much the same. And it gets to be tuning and drivers. So that's brought the personalities of the drivers up front. But I really kind of miss the days when if somebody had a wild idea, they could come up with a wild idea and go ahead and try it. And, hey, Jim Dunn putting an engine in the back on a funny car. Well, that didn't work, but at least he tried it.
Yeah. He won a race.
You wouldn't see him doing that today.
No. Well, and the technology that they had to make their ideas come true was so limited that, they could come up with a couple of things, but it wasn't that great. Now the technology is such that they can really create anything. And of course, now we have the most rules, which is
within the rules. Yeah. And that's, when NASCAR starts putting RFID chips in the carbon fiber noses of the car so that, and if you don't run the right RFID chip, you get a $20,000 fine. I don't know how that's really helping that sport, where the cars don't look like production cars. And I know in Funny Car and NHRA it's the same thing. I really liked it when the guys could actually come up with ideas and bring some ideas forward without getting stomped on by the sanctioning bodies. And but
that's so
I
true.
understand where the sanctioning bodies got to come from.
But at the same time, it's funny you bring that up. I was having a conversation with somebody, and we were just talking about PRI a few moments ago before you called in, before we opened the phones. And that was one of the questions. Who was I talking with? Okay, I know who I was speaking with. I was speaking with Harold Hawley. Used to work for Alan Kowicki and worked at Rusty Wallace for a while. And I just ran into him on the escalator going up into the mall to meet Steve the Trucker and Fuel Coupe Brian Spank for a couple of beers. And we had ended up in this great 30-minute conversation just talking about, NASCAR. And I think, and I don't know how we just started talking. Two strangers who were both in racing, both. By the way, he's really in racing, and I do a podcast, but whatever. The point is that we started talking.
You're a real racer. You got a Pontiac.
Yeah, it's a little different, but thank you for saying that. But anyway, I asked him about the sheet metal and the composite bodies. I was like, is that a good thing? And he says, no, it's not a good thing. And I was like, we ended up talking about how many metal workers are going to be out of work. Like guys that are on the team, the sheet metal guys, the guys that are the guys who really make it go, strip the cars, build new ones. What are they going to do? And he's like, dude, they're out of work. That's it. Composite bodies. You buy these parts, you attach them. There's somebody. There'll be a composite specialist. But don't we want kids to learn how to do things with their hands and steel and go chase their dreams and be in racing? And the answer is, I guess not, because now that job is limited.
Speaking of Alan Kowicki, who was really one of my heroes because he's a Wisconsin guy and an engineer and a one-man team owner driver, I always used to like the guy. One of the things that he always did that I try to do with my little baby racing operation is he used to have a clipboard with a magnet on it. And in the pits, because he used to pick up guys, local guys, to come and help him on the pits at a lot of the races because he didn't have a full-time team. And he used to have this big magnet on his clipboard, and the clipboard had all the things you're supposed to do before qualifying or before you go out, everything that had to be done step by step on the car. And you had little boxes, and you had to put your initials on the box. So you had to check the box off that you checked whoever checked the tires or whatever. And that thing stuck on the C-pillar of the car in the pits. And every time he'd come by, he'd walk over and he'd take a look at that. And then you'd just check and make sure that everything was done, because you can't do everything. Right. And the days of an owner-driver are so far gone now. But he was one of the guys that actually pulled it off with his Underbird.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and so many great ones actually came through there, by the way. And you hear, oh, yeah, this guy worked for Kulwicki, and this guy worked for Kulwicki, and guys who are still going to this day. So very impressive.
Hey, I wanted to make a quick comment about the NHRA and their shuffling or cutting back on pro stock and picking up on pro mod and some of the different things on their schedule. And I just wanted to throw this opinion out for food for thought, something to chat about. I'm kind of in support of the NHRA breaking up some of the pro classes. When I say breaking up, I think having the pro stock running a separate group of racings away from the nitro classes and the pro mods running a separate, because when you think about it, NHRA has everything in one basket right now, and if it rains that weekend, they're screwed. And I think if they can do sort of like what NASCAR has done with the trucks or with the Xfinity cars, they don't all run all at the same track, all on the same weekend. And if NHRA splits that up to say, okay, if the pro stock are running at this one track on that one weekend and the nitro guys are running at another track on that weekend and it rains on the nitro guys, hey, they could switch their coverage and go right over to pro stock and not lose any TV time. So I think there's some advantages to having different venues running on the same weekend that they could choose to cover or as a backup if they got bad weather.
I understand what you're saying. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, though. I mean, I get that.
I have no idea either, but that would make sense to me.
Well, it would be neat, but you'd have a split series like West Coast, East Coast. You know, pro stock on the West Coast, fuels on the East Coast is based on what I think you just described, and I don't see that happening. But I will tell you this: on this week's NHRA Nitro, we're going to speak with Matt Smith, the final of our Mellow Yellow Series champions. We did talk about this because he was going to run 4 pro stock races next year, but now he can't because the races he was going to run are the races they eliminated. And the reason he can't run is because you can't run 2 professional categories at the same time. So he's lobbying NHRA like, hey, man, I was going to go run these extra races in pro stock, and now I can't. How about you let me run pro stock at the races that I run pro stock motorcycle? Like, let's come up with an addendum to that rule. If you really need cars, I want to run it, let me do it. And so that's what we're working on. But we tick off a list of all the people who are potentially running full seasons next year in pro stock because it's only 18 races. And it's sounding like, this was going to be the end of the world. Oh, no, it's going to kill the category, 18 and it sounds like it's going to be just fine. Like, it might end up even being better.
I agree, and I think if you look at it more from the team owner and team concept, it might be better for them to not have to run as many races. They can put more effort into less races and still get the same benefits.
These guys have jobs. The days of I'm a racer and I am like bucking society and having a real 9-to-5 and going out there and racing for, win money to feed my family and grow my operation, like Bob Glidden, Warren Johnson, Dale Earnhardt, those guys. Those days are over, and now you need to have a very successful business that makes a lot of money to do this. And those guys, the number one priority is running the business to make the money to hire a bunch of people to run the race car. It's just a different model. It's evolved, and we got to evolve with it. And that's just the way it is, I think.
Well, and that's why Schumacher has his son racing. If you look at Force with all his daughters racing, all his daughters quit because they all want to go have babies. So, I mean, that's a crazy world.
Well, that's the ladies, they got that what do we call it? The great honor of creating the children.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, and when you talk about the different venues with NHRA, I was always an advocate before they went to the countdown system with NASCAR. I said, and if I had my dream in NASCAR, is that they literally would truly have a NASCAR East and a NASCAR West, not in the lower series, but in the Cup series, I would say. But they'd have like 4 wild card races. Like you could have Daytona, and you could have the big four races that would be open for everybody, and it'd be qualifying and race it, and it'd be double points and all that, and they wouldn't have had to go to this countdown system, because I'm not a giant fan of the countdown, even though it's interesting. I just can't believe that people get so upset over whoever wins. Everybody on Facebook's got to hate them.
Well, that's just the way everything is, though. Now, like there's nothing that doesn't elicit that emotion. Anyway, all right, let's talk to important stuff. How's the Studebaker? What's up with that? We saw you race, big mile per hour, no ET. Did you get it fixed?
Well, okay. Thank you for asking that. I've got a little sportsman car, so to speak.
It's got a supercharger on it, man.
Power.
It's got a supercharger on it.
It's got a Novi 2000 supercharger on it. That it's all built out of used parts. It's just a crummy old race car, but it's actually starting to shake itself out. I haven't got enough passes on it. Number one, my first goal is that I need to learn how to drive the darn thing, because it's a brand new car to me.
Right.
And I want to be careful, and I can't afford to crash it or fix it, so I just want to be careful with it. I started running it at my little local IHRA track that is changing to NHRA.
Hey, that's great.
And yeah, it's great, but it's so late in the season, they're just getting started, so it's been swamped with people. And for a guy like me to show up and want to test and tune in between qualifying rounds, it's really kind of hard. But the car is coming along well. I've only got about 6 passes on it so far, but the car is doing well. So I'd say forget this year. We're going to go it next year. I'll get the EFI sorted out on it. It'll be doing a little bit better. And also on the Studebaker end of things, because I have a penchant for Studebaker, I participated in the Engine Masters Challenge up in Cleveland, Ohio last October. We did not do very well with the Studebaker engine, but it learned enough that right now it looks like we're going to be building, and I will be building an engine for the JE Pistons Amsoil Engine Masters Challenge for next October.
Oh, wow, that's neat.
So, yeah, it is. And what's really neat is you've got your Samtec guys are very active in that. I spoke to all of the people, and the kids there, the young gentlemen that they had there helping out were just fantastic. And I'm sure they picked the cream of the crop to come help, but they helped all of the competitors get their engines ready, set up on the dyno stand, set them up in the dyno, break them down later on. A really great feature. So I'll keep you informed as far as our progress toward that goes, because we're going to definitely have a nifty little vintage class Studebaker engine to compete, and we're going to go give John Kazi a run for his money.
There you go. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it. Thank you for being such a great supporter and always keeping the group on Facebook going and growing and doing a great job, and appreciate it.
Well, treat Gio nice, okay? He works hard for his money.
Does he? Does he?
Well, we'll say that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Deep and
as usual,
yes.
WFO rules the airways, man. It really does.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Merry Christmas, Jeff.
Merry Christmas. Take care.
Hey, thanks, Gio.
There it is.
Later. Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
Later. Gio was there. Boy, you weren't. I know what you're dying to know. You want to know about the 710 oil cap, don't you?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Of course. 710. Upside down and backwards spells oil.
That is very nice.
There it is, the 710 oil cap. Of course, I knew that. And if I didn't know that already, I would have just gone to Google and
the
looked it up.
710 cap.
The 710 oil cap. It's like 710. You just kind of turn it, and then it spells oil.
Yep.
So there you go. See, that's kind of a cool thing. It's like,
I thought he was talking like bowling.
710 split, right? The 710 oil cap. There's 2, 1 on each side. So there we are. We're off to a hot start.
Hotlanta, baby.
Hot, and we've Dan Elephant Racers will be happy to know that we have cut the remainder and the Gentleman Jack down by half.
Absolutely.
Woo,
all right.
Absolutely. We got Sports Collision. How's your team doing, Gio? Let's get an update. 2 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in the third period.
Still in it. Still have a 13-point lead. It's been cut slightly. I think when we started this, it was a 15-point lead, right?
There's going to be heartbreak
And
here.
so we're almost through this third quarter, and I still have a lead. I could really use a field goal or two.
Yes.
Or at least a field goal and an extra point
Add
would
to
make
the
me
total.
feel much better. But, yeah, like a 50-yard field goal would be great.
Well, let's see, man. Drew
But let's
Brees
see.
back to pass, and he's sacked.
But I got to tell you, this defensive battle is not bad because that means no touchdowns for his team either. But like I said, he does have that Carolina running back, McCaffrey, and that guy is a point-scoring machine. So it's not over yet.
McCaffrey.
Yeah, we've got about, 15 minutes, one full quarter.
Is that
New
the dude
Orleans
who
does
did-
have the ball.
Is that the dude who did the Dark Side? The Beaver Brown Band?
No,
Oh, there it is.
that was Cafferty.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
From
that
Eddie
was
and the
John
Cruisers.
Cafferty. This is McCaffrey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's actually the son of a wide receiver that played for Denver when we were younger. McCaffrey, remember? I don't know if you remember him.
No.
All right. Well, then that'll do it.
Well, there you go. There's the update.
But yes, so far, New Orleans has the ball, and I'm still in this.
I hope for the sake of the audience that you win.
Oh, I hope for the sake of Gio's pocketbook. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm more concerned with the well-being of our great audience.
Oh, this could get really good. And so, yeah, we're about halfway to the end of this game from where we were, and we're about halfway through the show. So this is good. This is great.
Well,
I'm
we're
on
going
pins and needles
to
here.
have to stick around to see the exciting conclusion.
Oh, I think we will.
We're not going to just end it.
No,
unless you want to do that for the Patreons, the special Patreon.
Oh,
group.
we can see the
could
Gio
sign
reaction. We can sign off just like and leave it as in radio tease.
Yes, especially since now the Patreon thing is up on the website. Patrick, the webmaster, has put on links everywhere to the Patreon community. So I'm fully expecting the Patreon community to grow with
But
people.
Patrick, I do have a complaint.
Oh, go ahead, complain.
The website, the master backdoor place where I go in to update the website has been updated. And I didn't get my special Patrick instructions and memo on what to do now. Everything is different. Everything is weird.
They changed WordPress.
They changed everything.
Whatever. That's your deal, man. You're the guy. You're the guy who controls that. That's your destiny. That's your prime directive.
No, man. I'm supposed to get a memo with Patrick and telling me exactly what changed and what to expect and how to do things.
So let's. This is a little sports collision, but since we're talking a little, NFL football right at the moment, I couldn't help. My Miami Dolphins lost and got totally eliminated from the playoffs yesterday.
I feel like if somebody, first of all, they were not eliminated. If they win out, they could still be in it. But let's be honest.
Come on.
This team is not going anywhere.
No, they're not going anywhere, and they got smoked. But that doesn't even matter because we had the Miami Miracle. And I got to tell you,
goodness. I'm shocked that we didn't do even a 10-minute show just so that you could talk about the Miami Miracle.
The Miami Miracle lives forever. That's a thing. That's immortal.
I mean, that might be the greatest Dolphin victory in our lifetime.
No, one of the Marino clock play was better than that. Because this is a fluke. It was a fluke. Nothing was on the line.
It is a fluke.
It's just a fluke.
It was like a walk-off, like to end the game. Like the Marino clock play.
The play-by-play announcers
was not the last play of the game.
The play-by-play announcers were putting on their coats, and they were walking out of the studio.
Oh, they did a terrible job.
It was one of the worst. Like the fact, and at the very end, the guy's like, Miami Miracle, and he bailed himself out by naming the thing. But
he did.
The end, it was really an epic fail.
I got to tell you, of all
and
the calls I heard.
And it's ended, and, wait, well, they might have some. And they're right. Touchdown.
And I got to tell
and
you,
they win.
Of all the calls I heard, the New England radio call was probably the best one.
Oh, yeah?
It was not homerish at all, and somewhere in the middle, right there with a few seconds left, you could actually hear him when he goes, oh, Jesus. Like when he realized that they were going to score.
Yeah.
But the guy, great call by the New England guy.
Well, maybe you can bring that up with your savvy.
I couldn't get permission to play it, and I couldn't get it past HR.
No, we don't have to get permission. We just have to credit them. That's the way that stuff works, play-by-play.
Because the local radio call got a little homerish, and all three of them were like shouting over each other, and you really couldn't hear anything.
And the good news is that everybody in our audience knows exactly about the Miami Miracle. That's one that you probably cannot avoid.
Well, no, you cannot avoid
That's a freak play. That's like the band is on the field, man. That was
generally speaking, you don't need a lot to get people involved in anything bad that happens to the Patriots.
Absolutely. Everybody was very happy that bad things happened to the Patriots.
Even non-Dolphin fans were all excited about that.
And I felt like the Patriots fans reverted back to their loser selves from the 1980s immediately. It was funny to watch. Like, oh, we suck. It's like, really? You're going to complain, Patriots fans? Really? You're going to complain about this? This happened? Some sort of freak thing happened to you? And you're going to be like, we suck. No, man. You guys are one of the greatest teams of all time, and you don't know how to handle it.
Well, you know, those Boston fans,
well,
they're not accustomed to winning.
No, the best thing is that this just totally erased anything positive that might have happened in the past 6 months.
Oh, yeah. I'm all for it.
Right. At the hands of the Miami Dolphins.
Imagine that.
The Patriots and all of Boston and the greater New England region were anything positive that may or may not have happened within the past 6 to 8 months is now all forgotten.
Has quickly been erased.
The only thing anybody remembers is the Miami Miracle. What happened yesterday against the Steelers?
They lost.
They lost.
They lost again.
Oh, the Miami Miracle has sent them into a tailspin.
It's over, yep.
Wow. They were unable to recover.
Yeah, no, it was arguably Mike Tomlin's biggest win of his career also.
Back-to-back biggest wins.
You know, that Super Bowl doesn't really count, but if you're not counting that one Super Bowl.
Why doesn't that count?
No, I'm just kidding.
Come on now.
Well, because that was early on in his career, and the argument can be made that as I believe his record prior to yesterday was 1-7 against the Patriots all time. And you know, Pittsburgh has got a very good team, and if you go down their roster player for player, you'd be hard pressed to take the Patriots over the Steeler player at almost any position aside from quarterback. And my argument is that the drop-off from Roethlisberger, or from Brady to Roethlisberger, is not like a Grand Canyon-like. It's just, you know, from one elite quarterback to maybe the greatest of all time. But it's not like if Roethlisberger's a schlep.
Right. Well,
but
it's all because of the Miami Miracle, man.
Since
That's
you know, those of you that listen know that historically speaking, I've been a Steeler fan and rooted for the Steelers, and so it pains me to see all these years of them just not being able to compete in the AFC with New England. And it's not like if in certain, like in basketball, that we said, oh, Patrick Ewing just had the bad luck of running into Michael Jordan or playing the same era as Jordan. No, Pittsburgh does not lose to the Patriots in the playoffs every year. Pittsburgh somehow never makes it to the Patriot game. You know, they just don't make it to the party. The Patriots are waiting for them in the championship game, and Pittsburgh loses to, like, Tim Tebow in the first round. You know, right.
So true.
And so that is what pains me as a Steeler fan.
Whatever, though. You know
but
what?
Anyway,
like, you got.
I don't want to make it sound like if I think Tomlin's a bad coach, he's just not.
And they don't call it the Pittsburgh Miracle anyway, all right? Because that's all everybody cares about.
Miracle.
That's what they care about, is the Miami Miracle. And I'm getting back to this point, which
is... So are you talking about that old school single-A team that used to play down here? Is that what the Miami Miracle is?
Was that baseball?
Yeah, you don't remember when we were like in...
I think
they used to play at Bobby Maduro Stadium.
I think I have a jersey.
Yeah.
I own a Miami Miracle jersey. They used to give those
away like in elementary school to try and get you to go to that game.
We should have gone, man. We should have gone.
Well, we didn't go together, but I went to a few of those games.
What I'm getting at is the possibility, like when the Miami Miracle happened, I only wish I was one of those people that you somehow see on Twitter that were videoing themselves. You know, that always ends up happening, and you see like the fan response. But I lost it for a few moments, and I was just like, I couldn't believe it. Now, Gio, you need to be focused here. You guys are in the red zone, but you're getting ready to score. You need to be rooting against.
Right. I want Carolina
to shut them down.
Defense to bend but don't break.
Yes.
Let the Saints drive the ball and then force a field goal.
That's right.
Right.
This is what you're getting now, is an inside look at why fantasy sports is both good and bad. This is a game that nobody would really care about one way or another, but Gio has personal financial stake in the game, and so he is rooting for a team for a little while, and now at the moment...
Now I want them to fail and be forced to kick.
And forced to kick a field goal so that he can benefit. Oh, no, you're in trouble.
This is terrible.
Touchdown.
You see? Oh, no, the extra point is not terrible.
All right. But it would have been better the other way, though.
It would have.
If you lose by 2 points.
Well, we don't want them to go for 2 here. You see, and here they go for 2.
They're going for 2.
Ruining. They're killing me, Smalls.
The kicker is not getting on the field.
The band is on the field.
How about that? But when the play developed, I started to jump up and down and was like, I saw it happening.
No, the best thing would have been if he would have just taken a knee right there at the 1, but the game is not ending it. Anyway.
No, man,
Hey.
That hurts right there. That hurts you.
Well,
yes.
I don't know that it hurts me.
You should have gotten a guaranteed
point.
If
he could kick this, if they would let him kick the extra point, I could get a guaranteed point, and that would help. But as long as Carolina doesn't score, it continues to help me. But, yeah, we can't have McCaffrey and Newton moving the ball up and down the field. Uh-oh.
Intercepted.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything for me.
No. But now...
That's a 2 points going the other way.
Actually, it helps you because now they're going to kick off and New Orleans is going to get the ball again.
No. That's not how it works. Now New Orleans has to kick the ball to Carolina.
Or the pick 6.
No, that's a 2-point conversion, so it goes 2 points the other way because they ran it back.
That's right. Okay. Interesting. And so Carolina gets the ball.
See, big
that
mistake.
Hurts you, yeah.
See, this is the part where I don't like that strategy of the 2-point play where teams are chasing the point.
I don't like that whole thing. The guy just ran 100 yards. He intercepted the ball. He only gets 2 points. He brought it in the end zone. He only gets 2 points.
Because it's a conversion.
Yeah.
That's the way it's always been, though. If you block, actually, I think if you just block the extra point, you can't run it back. You can't even attempt to run it back. So
feels weird.
But again, here we are in an instance where the Saints were about to. What was the score there?
It would have been 13-7.
13, right? And so they would have been up by 6. Instead, now it's 12-9, and a field goal ties them up. You know, the other way, it would have forced a touchdown to beat you. You know, now Carolina just needs to score a field goal to tie the game.
Interesting.
That I am generally of the opinion that you don't go for 2 until the very end. Like, I don't like chasing the point.
I see why they did it, though, but boy, did it fail epically. Like, that's the worst possible.
Yes. Exactly. Not
scenario.
only did they not extend their lead to 7, they actually got it cut to 3.
Yeah. Brutal. So, anyway, some news in the NHRA want to get to.
But on a personal note, they cost me points.
No,
They cost me points.
Epic fail.
The good news is there's only 12 minutes left in the game, folks.
Well, we'll see. But anyway, everyone's moving all around. Some of the announcements happening, like Bob Tasca hired Mike Green. We'll talk about that with Alan Reinhart on NHRA Nitro. Also, you should definitely send your questions to Alan Reinhart for tomorrow's NHRA Nitro. Like, quick stump the dummy questions, whatever they are.
Oh, I saw that being advertised.
Yes,
online.
he wants to answer questions, and so you can call them in. 954-889-6796 if you would like. That is up to you. Also, Joe Barlam rejoining Bob Vandergriff Racing, which is kind of cool. All kinds of moving and maneuvering happening. And we'll speak about some of it with NHRA National Dragsters Kevin McKenna on NHRA Nitro tomorrow, along with Matt Smith and Brian McClanahan and Alan Reinhart, and that will be a great show. Our final NHRA Nitro of 2018, other than the best ofs that Gio is putting together dutifully, and it is going to be fantastic. Paul Lee is coming out next year with Jim Oberhofer tuning. Got to speak with those guys at PRI. It was a really good PRI trade show, but not a lot of breaking news. I think a lot of people have decided that it is best to not break news at PRI because there's so much going on that it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. And then you forget about it at the holidays. And so what people are starting to do is like wait for after the holidays and then start fresh in 2019.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. It's
the opposite of releasing the bad news on Friday late afternoon.
Exactly. The Friday afternoon news dump, right? Release all the bad news right before the weekend when nobody cares.
Yeah, no, that's a great strategy for the sports teams,
Not just sports teams. That's big in the political world, too.
It's in everything, in all the world.
Like, oh, man, we're going to jail? Release it on Friday night.
Right.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Well, they will, but by the time Monday comes around, so much has happened that you forgot.
That's true, too. And that is a bit of a downside. But nonetheless. So Formula One Universe saw some interesting storylines, one of which is Ferrari is going to be the first They are the first to announce their unveiling of their 2019 car, which will be February 15th. We get to see the 2019 Ferrari. They have let us know. So they're the first to announce the date. That's news in Formula One world.
That's great, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. We're the first to announce.
They're not the first to unveil the car.
No, they're the first to announce the announcement.
Yes. They're first to announce the announcement.
I love it.
Yeah, it's very Formula One. It's very
really
Formula One. That's what Formula One is. It's like huge. The the pomp and the circumstance and all that. We're still a bit away. In the NASCAR universe, some shuffling around with the team charters. Not exactly how sure our audience is interested in that. Starcom Racing purchased a charter from RCR, and Landon Castle will be the driver. Starcom Racing is managed by Derek Cope.
Oh.
We're coming off a successful first year for our new
Daytona
owners and team.
Champ?
But what's happening is we are seeing the charter system work.
Yes.
And that is what...
I believe it sold for 7 figures.
I don't see...
I think I read somewhere that it was about $6 million.
The release I'm looking at from ESPN's Amanda Brooks does not quote a number. If you can produce a number, I would be interested in hearing it. But if it was 7 figures, what'd you say, $1 million or $7 million?
$6 million.
Really?
That's what I heard.
Okay.
That's the rumor I'm starting.
All right, so let's delve into that for a moment, okay? Previously, when a team was going to shut down and shutter and all that, they had what? Their pipe, the chassis, which are, outdated, perhaps. If it was cutting edge, typically cutting edge teams don't close their doors. So you had some stuff that you could sell for what we would call pennies on the dollar, right?
That's exactly
pennies on the dollar. Maybe some tools. Maybe you had a shop that you maybe own, probably not. Stuff, pennies on the dollar. And for so many years, people were against. They were doing it, but they were also against the fact that, man, we invest all this money in this sport, and then when we decide to get out, we get nothing. Whereas in every other sport, things appreciate. So they invented these charters. And it's not a union, it's like a franchise type thing, but we call them charters. And so this charter that you get in, and you get in on the money, and you're part of the thing and the whole deal, and you don't get one automatically, and there's only so many, and you got to buy them from people who have either failed or gotten out. It's got a value. That was the concept. That was got a value. There's an intrinsic value to it because it is connected to sport with value. That means there's going to be money. By having this, you will be able to make money in the sport of NASCAR. You get to qualify. You're in the races. You're all that stuff. And so watching it work with the Furniture Row team and now RCR, there's RCR, a big team. They got rid of one of their charters. And they pocket perhaps $6 million, Gio will find eventually.
Yes.
Right? I think that is a success. That's turning out to be good. Now, if you fail and you shutter your doors, that's not a good thing. But it's better that you can get something out of it.
Here we go. Spire Sports and Entertainment purchases Front Row Racing Charter. Update. Spire Sports and Entertainment purchased Front Row's racing charter for about $6 million, according to sources.
Front Row? Why do you keep saying Front Row?
Furniture Row, sorry.
I mean, Front Row is another team.
Yeah, no, sorry. Furniture Row.
For around $6 million.
For about $6 million.
The highest
per
price
sources.
Paid.
The price has not been previously reported. Spire purchased the charter from the now defunct Furniture Row in a move first reported by ESPN last Tuesday, or a few,
So $6 million.
$6 million is the reported according to sources. This is not public knowledge, so it's just.
So compared to what they spent, that's just pennies on a dollar.
It still is, but at least it's something where they got nothing before.
Well, who knows? who knows what the actual initial number was. They won a championship. They finished, second this past year. They had a really good run. With that, they can also sell all their stuff plus the $6 million. I think it is a better system. I think we have seen a better system take over. And it is rare that, we do that. We, as in, everybody, all of us who are the peanut gallery who comment on things, everybody can do instantaneous negativity. This is terrible. This is stupid. This isn't going to work. It's awful. And then does it work? Oh, yeah, actually it works. And nobody mentions anything about it. It never gets spoken about. No one ever really says, oh, you know what, that thing we were all against? The thing that we were fighting against for 40 years? It actually turned out to be really a good thing. Nobody really makes that comment. So, that comment being made. So I like it. I kind of like it. It shall be interesting to see. Let's see, what else? There was a story that I was searching for. I wanted to throw out there. What happened to the holiday music, man? Thought you were going to hit us with all this holiday stuff. Get this. MIT invents method to shrink objects to nanoscale.
Oh, come on. I've seen that movie before.
Using basic lab equipment. Yeah.
We have it every so often. Honey Shrunk the Kids.
Yes.
We had the Matt Damon one recently.
Did you see that one?
No, I have not.
Oh, my God. I saw that one.
And?
This sounds like a Joe does an old movie review.
Well, it's not that old.
What was that called?
Recent.
Multiplicity?
No. That's something else.
That was a different one. We probably don't have the license to play the song either. You got to kill it. But
I thought Christmas music you were allowed to play.
I don't know. I don't think so. Some say bigger is better, but researchers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology will tell you that when it comes to tech, smaller things are far more impressive. This month, MIT researchers announced they invented a way to shrink objects to nanoscale, smaller than what you can see with a microscope using a laser. That means they can take any simple structure and reduce it to 1/1000th of its original size. This miniaturizing technology, called implosion fabrication.
Are you sure it's not called downsizing?
Could be, that's the name of the movie. Could be applied to anything from developing a smaller microscope and cell phone lens to creating tiny robots that improve everyday life. Pause. At this point in the story, and this is, I'm reading off, CNN.com. The first thing I thought was, is this an April Fool's joke coming in December? How can this be? This cannot be. This is a lie. This is fake news. Right? But
yeah, no, it does sound like.
What do you mean you can reduce the size of something 1,000, to 1/1000th of its size using a laser? What does that mean? Because I just watched this movie, Downsizing, and here's my review. Don't watch it. End of review. It was horrific. The point and premise of the deal is that humanity were a bunch of, senseless eaters, right? Just using all the resources on the planet, and money and resources and food, and we're polluting and everything. And so how do we save the planet? What we'll do is we'll take people and we'll shrink them down. And that way their footprint will be way smaller. And so, of course, greedy people say, oh, my gosh, my $10,000 as a full-size person is only good for $10,000. But if I'm a teeny tiny person, my $10,000, I'm a millionaire. And so people get small and they get giant houses, but the houses are small. And they have 50 cars, but the cars are toy cars. And it's this whole thing. And so Matt Damon decides he's going to do it, him and his wife, and they're going to do it. And so she bails on him last second. And so he's shrunk and tiny and she's not. And she's like, sorry, I'm out. And that's the last time you see her. And then he goes into this whole adventure of the tiny people, et cetera, and so on. And then it ends. And you look at yourself and you say to yourself, why? Why did I do that? Why did I watch this? And the answer, of course, is because you were on an airplane and you had nowhere else to go. You had only a couple other choices.
Oh, I've seen some terrible movies on the airplane.
That's it. Downsizing. Horrible. Horrible. And then in the end, they're going off. They're going to dig a hole and they're going to go down into the earth and they're all walking. And there's the, like how you know what? I think you should watch it just to see how bad it is. Didn't like it. And normally I like everything.
I think it's not even out like on the HBOs yet.
It's been a while. I
felt like if it should have been, but I haven't seen it anywhere.
People have been trying to invent better equipment to make smaller nanomaterials for years, said neurotechnology professor Edward Boyden, the lead researcher, in a statement. There are all kinds of things you can do with this. It's a far cry from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but the new method has plenty of cool real-world uses. For example, scientists are exploring ways to add tiny robotic particles to cancer drugs that can seek out only the cancerous cells. And forget microchips. MIT says this technology could be used to develop even smaller nanochip electronics, like the one used in Skynet.
Whew.
The best part, MIT's cutting-edge technique simply requires a laser and an absorbent gel commonly used in baby diapers. Materials that most biology and engineering labs already have. They say you take the baby diaper, some Duco cement, a piece of duct tape, wrap the duct tape around the diaper with the gel, put it in front of the laser, and everything that you touch with it is shrunk. Here's how it works.
Dude, that's as easy as like a MacGyver episode. I mean, why haven't we all done this?
Okay, that was me making up the technique off the top of my head. Here comes the real way. And I'm still thinking that this is an April Fool's joke in December. Here's how it works. Using a laser, researchers make a structure with absorbent gel akin to writing with a pen in 3D. Then they can attach any material, metal, DNA, or tiny quantum dot particles to the structure. Finally, they shrink the structure to a minuscule size. That told us nothing. It's a bit like film photography, explained a graduate student researcher, Daniel Oren. A latent image is formed by exposing a sensitive material in a gel to light. Then you can develop the latent image into a real image by attaching another material, silver, afterwards. In fact, Oren is a trained photographer, and the project began in 2014 when he and graduate student Samuel Rodriguez, who has a background in physics, decided to collaborate. Hey, you want to collaborate? The team discovered the method by reversing a common technique originally developed by Boyden to enlarge images of brain tissue called expansion microscopy. That process involves injecting a material into a gel and then making it larger and therefore easier to see. By doing the reverse, the researchers were able to make nano-sized objects. Previously, similar laser techniques could only make two-dimensional structures, and other methods for shrinking 3D objects were much slower and more difficult to perform. Normally, nanotechnology uses very expensive technology and requires sterile rooms, but we didn't have to do that because of the scaffold that we used to protect the material. All right, no, I'm going on the record here. I'm skeptical. It's pretty hard to imagine right now all the things we can make with this. But you can't make anything that moves. Can you? Gears. You can make tiny little robots that go in and like stab the cancer cells. But isn't that amazing though? Isn't that amazing? They're making stuff with a laser and some duct tape. And I don't know if you even got the Duco cement reference. That's an old school thing. The Lincoln Continental, bring back suicide doors.
Is that anything like the Acme Trading Company?
Yes, it is. This is another story from the same outlet. Lincoln is bringing back iconic suicide doors, which the mention of...
I'm Ken Jacobus. I'm the owner of Good
Come on,
Start
Ken,
Pack.
get out of here.
Okay.
You may recall I once mentioned suicide doors to the folks at Rolls-Royce, and they almost asked me to leave. Coach doors. At Rolls-Royce, we call them coach doors. Yes, coach doors. So true. A limited edition version of the big Lincoln Continental will have back doors that are hinged at the rear rather than the front, which is kind of cool, so everybody's going to have their own version of the entourage vehicle. I like it. I like the suicide doors. There was a reason they got away from the suicide doors, though.
Which is?
Safety.
That makes sense.
When you accidentally open a door in the back seat with a regular door, the door closes. When you accidentally open a door in a suicide door, the door opens and it pulls you out.
Right.
And you have just committed suicide.
Hence the term?
Hence the term. So coach or no coach,
it's still the same effect.
It's still the same effect. Still result in effect. Exactly. Exactamundo. So what about the great Giovanni? How's the fantasy football going with 5 minutes and 40 seconds left?
It's getting antsy here. I only have a 6-point lead now, down to 6 points, but the Saints are driving, and they're having a time-killing drive right here, which is exactly what I needed.
That ends in a field goal.
Absolutely. Or just run the game out.
Or run the game.
I mean, if they could just get a couple more first downs and run this game out, but I'm not sure how many timeouts Carolina has left and playing with a 2-minute warning and all that. But
wow, so exciting.
So, yeah, this is coming down. About 5 minutes to go. Nollins has the ball at the Carolina 40-yard line, approximately, it appears to be. And so, yes, the best thing for me would be another 2 more first downs and kick a field goal as time runs out or something. Actually, I guess, Carolina's got other timeouts, so they're more than likely going to get the ball back. But
yeah, no, they're going to get the ball. Oh, wouldn't it be crazy?
No, here we go.
Look at
just
this.
Like that, you see?
You're very lucky right there.
Well, I'm telling you, I need them to get tackled. Time-consuming.
You need the time to be consumed.
Absolutely.
This is like a version of this Sports Collision.
Well, it has been a slight version. This whole show has been a little bit of a version of Sports Collision with this excitement going on for everyone understanding the plight of Gio's fantasy team.
The plight of the fantasy team.
That's right. Woo.
No, I'm interested. I'm interested to see how it all works out.
Like I said, one more first down could get this game to the 2-minute warning.
The Miami Miracle Man.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't want to get too excited, but
well, no, what was great about that?
I think that clock is moving slow, though. I mean, something's going on here. I mean,
what was great about that was it reinforces that it ain't over until it's over. That it really is never over until it's absolutely over. That miracles, crazy things do still happen.
Well, that's why we love sports, like the Miami Miracle.
We love and sports and racing. You know, someone.
Well, I believe racing to me is a sport.
It is, of course, it is a sport.
Right, but all of these things. This is why people love sports, because you never know what's going to happen.
You could be about to win the Indy 500 and hit the wall.
Right.
That happened a couple of years ago.
Right.
Or, do you remember that? Like
hey,
J.R.
you could be about to win a Daytona 500 and blow a tire.
Cut a tire.
Yeah, all kinds of things.
So true.
You could be about to win Martinsville and get a bump and run from the eventual champion.
Some guy could come out of the pit lane and just crash you.
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen.
No.
Yeah, that one's not supposed to happen that way.
Not really supposed to happen, and yet it did.
Yeah, that was terrible.
So our own Miami Marlins making a big move.
The Marlins, what did they do? They don't tell me they signed Harper and Machado.
They did.
Wow.
I'm proud of our New York Yankees for not getting into the Bryce Harper $300 million thing.
Well, they're going to get into the 300, offer Machado something close to that, it looks like.
I think they beat him down a little bit. You know, the whole I don't hustle thing really hurt him.
He cost himself millions of dollars, literally.
Yeah.
Yep.
All you kids out there. And by the way, even right now, I'm still a little sour on him. I'm still that I don't hustle. That's me. I'm the kind of guy I don't hustle.
I don't think that. I think things out of context. I think he meant like I'm not.
There's your kicker.
From what I understand, it was explained as I'm not the Johnny Hustle that only hustles for the camera. Is what he meant. Like that there's guys that
sounds like spin to me.
That hustle for the camera.
That
he's not going to fake the hustle for the camera only.
Well,
but hey,
if that's the spin,
Robbie Cano didn't hustle down the line at first. Sometimes,
And we dumped him. We hated him, and they wanted
to slow down. We didn't dump him and hated him.
No, we didn't hate him.
Okay,
we hated that aspect of him. We didn't like that.
We don't.
We didn't like that at all. That was terrible. And El Gary has got a bout with that as well. 4th and inches, Gio. 4th and inches. What are they going to do?
You got to kick it. Oh, they're going for it.
Why
They're
are they
killing
doing
me.
this? Well,
because
the
they
answer is
figure they can
because-
run the clock out, the game. Oh, look. Well, look here. Then now they forced Carolina to take a timeout right there. So that hurt
Gio has stood up.
Whew. Yeah, no, that's it. I can't
He
take
is standing
this any
up now. Now it matters. He has abandoned the chair.
Well, because I guess if they go for it and they make it, they're thinking they can force these guys to take their timeouts and maybe run out the clock, which that would be great for me too.
And if they don't make it, then they got to go the whole distance of the field anyway.
Right, and they still have to score a touchdown to beat them. So, no,
And if they kick the field
let's
goal,
be honest, the smart play is to kick a field goal and take a 6-point lead and force them to take a touchdown to beat you.
Because right now a field goal ties them.
Right, and they don't, you could realistically kick like a 45, 50-yard field goal. That's no longer considered, beyond the reach of a kicker, of a good kicker in the NFL.
I got to say, it's pretty crazy to do 4th and inches right here. You got to kick that field goal, man. What's going on here?
They're killing me with
this
the
is
points,
preposterous.
man.
There it is. This is it.
Killing me.
Gio's
This is it,
season is on the
They
line.
have to make this.
They have to make it.
What do you quarterback draw? Quarterback sneak?
A pitch
To the fastest guy on the field, and what does he do?
He
First
got
down.
the first
Just
down.
Stop.
There
Just
it
go
is.
down. Just go down. Just go down. I don't want to see a touchdown there either.
That's good. That's going to go all the way down to the 2-minute warning. Wow.
And now Carolina's got 2 timeouts left. These guys will run the ball twice.
You want to call the
It'll
guy
be
you're
third
playing
down.
and taunt him right afterwards?
Not yet. It's not over yet, but
This is a very unlikely victory.
oh,
he's texting somebody though. That's it. You're forgetting the audience just to go text and taunt your person. You should at least share what you're
well,
texting.
because somebody just texted me, 3 and kick and it's over. And then I'm like, not over yet, but the fat lady is warming up.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Miami Marlins have decided that for the 2019 season, they are going to decrease the price of just about all of their concessions, which I thought was a great deal.
I think, I don't know, maybe I misread the email I got, but there is going to be 2 specific concession stands that they're going to have $3 and $5 items, was from what I understood. Now, mind you, I'm not complaining. I think it's a great thing that they're offering this, these great bargains at specific places throughout the stadium.
Yes.
It's called the 305 menu. And so for $3, you could get either hot dog, popcorn, pretzel, nachos, a 16.9 fluid ounces of bottled water, or a 16-ounce fountain cup of soda. And for $5, you could get a domestic draft beer or Mojo pork tacos, available at sections 13 and 39 concession stands. All fans, all home games.
I think that's great.
I think that is,
So wait a
it's
second.
a very good olive branch to extend to the fans.
So we're going to have to wait in a longer line.
Well, that's the thing, that there's only 2 concession stands, so you would imagine that those are going to be pretty packed. Now, I would hope that they have those, fully staffed.
Well, I don't know. Right, that's like, the guy who works at, he went to the bathroom.
No, but
He'll be back, but
if
that's,
they have 2 people working the concession stand and there's 100 people in line,
the full price one is available.
It might not be worth the half the price beer.
In his short time here, the great Derek Jeter has changed the uniforms, gotten rid of the statue, lowered the prices. Like, this guy is, he's making moves.
But that was concessions. You had told me earlier you saw ticket prices going down, but
no,
that I have not seen.
No, I didn't see that. I saw the concessions. The price of beer in particular is what I was talking.
Well, they have a $5 domestic beer now instead of the $13 or $12 that they normally get you.
Hot dogs $3, popcorn, pretzel, and nachos $3, and beer is $5. Man, what more could you ask for? That's a good deal.
It could be at all concessions.
Yes. This is Miami, man. There's plenty of people there that can afford to pay the $11 beer, too. And
well, there's lots of people that can afford to pay the $12, $13 beer, but, come on, that's a bit excessive.
I just want to mention that if the Machado deal goes through and we end up with him, then I'm going to clean the slate and hope the guy can,
I mean, the guy's still only 26 years old.
Yeah, and he's a great talent. He's got to learn the
does
hustle,
have
though. He's got to learn to hustle. You got to hustle. In World Series games,
you know what, man?
That's where
if
that
you're
bites
hitting the
you.
ball out of the park, you don't have to hustle.
Yeah, but
All right.
in a World Series game, you're going to hit a dribbler down the third base line, and you got to beat it out. And that's
All
what,
right.
that's
yes.
what wins
and
the game.
And I doubt that,
That's what wins the game.
When that happens, I don't think he's going to be loafing down the first base line. All right?
He might. That's what guys who don't hustle do.
No. See, guys that don't hustle, it's not when the game is on the line. It's on one of those dribblers back to the pitcher that they just don't hustle to first. You know, I got to tell you, sometimes on that play, what's the point of running all out to first base?
Because it might not, they could drop the ball, they could bounce it, they could one-hop it.
And then your guy that hits 300, 30 home run and 100, pulls a hamstring trying to run out a dribbler back to the first baseman, and he's out for the next, 3 weeks.
He's a professional athlete. He's in excellent shape. He's not pulling a hamstring on that. You do it every time, that's why. But I get what you're saying. But no, you gotta hustle.
It's just that, yes, in
All you
theory,
kids out there, you gotta hustle.
you have to hustle every time. But the reality is that, no, there are times that you don't have to hustle to first. Let's be real.
Yeah,
Come on.
a two-hopper to the shortstop that he fields cleanly and fires. And
you barely got out of the box before a rocket goes across, and you're like, oh, he didn't hustle to first, right?
Well, but at that point, it's over already, before you even get into second gear.
Or the same thing, if you hit a dribbler to the first baseman, do I have to really try to beat him to the bag when the guy's got the ball right there?
You should.
No,
yes, you should.
You see, that's the thing. At that point, you don't risk getting hurt when it's really the most improbable play that they're going to get you out there.
And yet it happens. That was not a touchdown.
No, it looked like a fumble. I don't know. There's a penalty. Oh, my goodness. This game's going to give me a heart attack.
Carolina ball.
Don't say that. That would be the worst thing to happen.
Oh, I know. No, but it was out of bounds.
Well,
it out of bounds.
If he fumbled it through the end zone,
no,
it's Carolina ball. Which, by the way, that's another play that I kind of if it went out of bounds, but I don't know. It's tough to tell there. Okay, here we go. This will be a more definitive angle. I kind of have an issue with the fact that when you fumble the ball through the end zone, it goes over to the other team. Like anywhere on the field, if you fumble the ball and it goes out of bounds, you get it back. But if it goes out of bounds in the end zone, then the other team gets it. Like that just kind of. I've been on this for a few years now that I'm wondering why. Like that doesn't quite make sense.
It's definitely a horrific penalty.
Right. So you could fumble the ball anywhere on the field and it goes out of bounds and you get it back. But if you fumble it at the one and it goes through the end zone and out of bounds, the other team gets the ball. It's just one of those things that I've seen it happen.
The answer is they want to penalize you for doing something bad, fumbling the ball.
Right.
And if they just give you the ball back, you're probably just going to score. And so no penalty. They want to discourage you from diving and having the ball loosely. This is going to be one that everybody sees over and over again. It went right over the pylon. There's no way to tell. No conclusive angles. And Gio's fantasy team season comes down to this. Yeah.
Yeah, no, less than 2 minutes to go.
So
the Carolinas have the ball back. Well, they're going to review this for 1,000,000 times.
1,000,000 times, yeah. And this is going to be debated.
It's difficult to tell where the ball goes out of. Oh, here, this is probably the most definitive angle. Now that's a touchback, man. Unfortunately, I got to tell you, I've heard that a certain team that was involved in the Miami Miracle and lost just the other day has taught their players not to stretch the ball out. Just go down. Stop trying to stretch the ball out because of how many times players fumble the ball.
Well, right there.
Just like that.
And now Carolina has the ball back with 1:44.
At their own 20-yard line, too, not at the 1.
Yeah.
Which is another thing. Wow, look at that.
WFO Holiday Party. You're on the air.
Hello, it's Mike. How's it going?
Hey, Race Guitar in the mix. We're in the middle of a critical moment in the life of Giovanni. Giovanni,
what's wrong?
Nothing is wrong. Well, Giovanni
nothing is physically wrong.
Locked in combat in the round of 4 of his fantasy football championship. He has the lead, but the ball has just been turned over to Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. They have a minute 44 remaining, and they're going to throw the ball nearly exclusively to the running back that Gio's
of course they are.
Opponent has in the game, and he's going to try to run up the yards and defeat Gio with a minute and 30 seconds left.
Now the lead is now only 4 points.
Oh, no. That's a
and if he ties, he wins. He has the tiebreaker.
Come on,
right
I
need a turnover.
You
right
need
here.
a turnover. Thrown out of
that
bounds.
helps too.
So what's up, Race Guitar? But yes, so just so you know, and there is a considerable amount of money
involved in
this. And Gio just had it. It was
a lock. Well, it wasn't a lock. I said it.
Shouldn't have sent that text message.
Yeah, you're right.
Shouldn't have sent that text.
I've warned you about that.
Oh,
the gambling gods.
They are mean.
They hate me.
The gambling gods are some horrible people. All right, Race Guitar, what do you got?
Oh, nothing. I just wanted to give a quick call and say happy holidays to everyone in the WFO universe. I saw you pushed out the notification that it was your holiday party.
This is it. We're having the holiday party. We're drinking the Gentleman Jack provided by Elephant Racers. We're doing it all.
Just keep the bottle on your side of the console, because if Gio starts to look like he's in really bad shape in that game, he might start getting it pretty hard.
Over. It's over. I've given up officially.
Dude, you don't understand, man. The mood has changed in here. Like it's 180 degrees of what it was just a moment ago. He was drinking from the chalice of victory. There's a minute 3 left. Cam Newton has just spiked the ball. They're now going 4 wide, and they're going to just take shots down the field. It looks like.
Yeah, no, I basically need an interception. That's
second
really
and 10.
The only
You
thing
need
that's
to sack him. He's throwing it up. The ball bounced.
Yeah, that's good too, but
the clock
I need
stops.
2 more of those.
So you got to.
No, but if they don't get a first down, then also.
It's 4 down territory.
Right, so I need 2
here
more.
It is.
Oh, this is terrible, Mike. This is terrible.
Well, so since we're on Stick and Ball Sports, let's talk about the growing movement to get another Expos team in Montreal.
I'm for it.
Do the people of Montreal even want that?
Yeah, do you guys want, really? That's the thing.
I don't know. I heard that the previous owners had commissioned some kind of study, and there was positive responses to it, and everyone's into it. And I don't know. I've heard this before, though, since they left to go to be the Nationals, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm for it. I'm a baseball guy, so if they had a team, that'd be wonderful.
I love America's pastime. Gio, what has just happened? Gio is now grinding into his hand.
4th down right here. This is the game right here.
Oh.
Yes. Woo. Well, let's see what happens. Are there any penalties? I mean, are the Saints going to do some other ignoramus move? I mean, it would appear.
35 seconds left. It looks like the pass was incomplete.
It does.
On 4th down. It appears that Giovanni has survived.
Oh, ekes out the victory.
Oh, my goodness. What an emotional roller coaster that was.
Oh, I have
won
by 2 points.
You almost stole defeat from the jaws of victory.
I did. It was, oh my goodness. Now, let's just hope they can kneel on the ball correctly here without doing something ridiculous.
Listen, you don't understand. It was, right, exactly. They're going to give it to the running back of the other team, and he's going to run it back. Nope, they're kneeling it down. It's over. It's over.
Victory is mine.
Wow. You're going on to the Super Bowl, and you laid an egg. This game was a terrible game, which means your next game you might end up being better. All right, now we can focus. Congratulations, Giovanni.
Oh, thank you
for the answer. Congrats, Gio.
Oh, thank you. I'd like to thank all my fans supported me throughout this whole season of not a very good record. I was the wild card team, but as we have seen in regular sports, the wild card team sometimes gets hot at the right end and ends up in the championship game, and that's where I will be next week.
Wow. You're in the championship game.
We're going to put our heads down and work really hard this week. I'm going to get on my team. We're going to practice all the plays, and hopefully GM Gio will make the right calls.
That is incredible. Woo! All right, I'm going to ignore that one.
Gio.
Now, they're all calling now. All right, Race Guitar, let's get to it. What do you got?
Oh, again, like I said, I just wanted to call in and make sure I touch base before the holidays because I suspect this will be the last one for a couple of weeks, I guess, right?
It is. Well, Gio's putting together a best of NHRA Nitro for next week and the following week. And he's going to do that. And then that's it. They're all calling. They're all calling at the same moment, but it's okay. And that's it. Yeah, this is the end of the year. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine.
Cool. So if I understand correctly, I think Matt Smith will be on Nitro this week?
Matt Smith and Brian McClanahan, 2 more champions. And Matt Smith, I spoke with him today. We had a great day. We dug deep into the big moments of the season, and he gave his opinion. He talks a little bit about his budding pro stock career, talks about Angie, what she's going to be doing next year, all of these things. So it's definitely a must listen.
Yeah, to touch on just real quick then, when I saw the premiere of Don O'Neill's new car, which is a really nice looking piece, by the way, my first thought was, is Don going pro stock racing? That's a great move. But, Top Sportsman with that combination, looks like it's going to be an interesting season for him, though.
It will be a very interesting season. It's going to be fun to watch. Don is a great guy. And, he's a sportsman racer who's got a sponsor to go out and run for championship. That's, that doesn't happen. That's rare.
No.
And we need more of that. We need more of that. I think he's done a great job. And the idea that he is tying it in with modern technology and the Copo motor and all of that, I think he's done a great job.
Yeah, me too.
All right, I'm going to try answering this. Let's see what happens here. WFO, you're on the air. Hello.
Joe, good evening.
The Jay Seelig. There he is. We just hung up on race guitar. This is a big moment for you.
Oh, man, you shouldn't have had to hang up on him.
No, well, you know what? There is a way to, conference people in, and I don't know exactly how to do it. So, let's do this. Yeah, race guitar.
Yeah, you deleted me.
We did, and now you just deleted Jay Seelig. Let's see if he comes back. Let's see what happens here. Who's the most tenacious of the callers? This is battle of the callers is what it is.
I'll let it go, and I'll leave it to Jay. Like I said, I just wanted to make sure you guys have a good holiday.
Well, thank you.
Have yourselves a nice Christmas, and I don't know. Will there be an Ignition next week?
No, there will not be an Ignition next week. There's not.
So have yourselves a good Christmas and a good New Year's, and keep everyone happy and healthy.
And your daughter is staying down in Pompano Beach, you say?
That's right, Emily. Yep.
And she's going. Did she go to the steakhouse that we recommended?
I do not. I have not touched base with her yet. I'm not in 24/7 contact, but I know she brought the list down with her, and she was looking forward to it. So I'm going to assume that she's there until Thursday night. She only arrives back in Montreal. Well, back in the Northeast on early Friday morning. So she's got plenty of time.
As luck would have it, I have a good friend who is the president of the Chamber of Commerce of Pompano Beach. And so I was able to fire off a text and get a couple of recommendations for you. And then, because I just wanted to cross-reference it, I did a Google search and came up with Faraday's as well. Apparently it's really good. So we'll see.
Cool.
But, the Isle Casino is, it's not really Pompano Beach. It's a little west, but, for a great steak, why not?
Yeah. And Emily will be into that. Like, she's, like I told you, she's my carnivore. Out of all my kids, she's the one that'll sit down with a nice steak, and she'll make her own steaks. So.
Oh, that's great. And plus, when she goes over to the casino at the Isle, she can hang out with the blue hair.
Yeah, but the problem is, and I crushed, because she's there in a group, like she's there. She's one of 4, and I crushed their gentle little spirits when I pointed out to them that the drinking age in Florida is 21.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Why do they need somebody to buy them beer?
Whoa. Don't help.
Well, I don't even know what
I wasn't talking about me. What do you think? You're talking about me? I'm not going to do that.
But I can point them in the right direction around here.
Yeah. What else do they need? Just kidding, of course.
This is South Florida. We can get them anything they want.
The drinking age up in Quebec is only 18, so they've all been, hit the bars already for the last year and a half.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna hate it like poison.
So I told them, I was like, guys, just be aware that it's 21 in Florida. What? Oh, what? You're kidding. I said, no.
Well, it's 21 in all the states.
Yeah, the United States of America, 21.
Yeah.
You can go fight for your country at 18, but you can't have a beer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, again, gentlemen, have yourselves a good holiday. Stay in touch, and I'll talk to you in 2019.
Thank you very much. Race Guitar. Merry New Year.
Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.
Have a happy Merry.
WFO.
There he goes.
WFO.
Race Guitar. Now, if Jay Seelig will call back, and he'll do his thing, and everybody will be happy. That was the battle of the more tenacious caller.
That was.
And it was.
And Jay kept calling back, too. He was not going to be
denied. But then, right at the end, just like you.
Then he quit.
You tried to steal defeat from the jaws of victory, but then you were able to. What a bad call.
Dude, the Saints were trying to screw me.
What a bad call. Like, I was already thinking, like, what was going to happen if that went the other way? Oh, who was the guy that he had on his team that you didn't have? The running back?
He had McCaffrey.
McCaffrey with the ball. Oh, McCaffrey, a long run down the sideline. Oh,
it didn't even have to be. I'm looking at if he had one more reception for 3 yards, I would have lost. So basically just another screen pass. It was over. Oh, wow.
That is awesome. Good job. Well, victory.
Woo, this guy here is in the fantasy Super Bowl, baby.
Yeah, I think you've done well. You've done well for yourself.
Look at that, and I was considering not even participating this year.
Really? You were going to quit?
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I just didn't feel like dealing with it.
No, it is. It's a large time crunch.
It's not that bad. It's,
And now we have the JC League. Jay, welcome back. Perfect timing.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening to you. How are things?
Good. Everybody done with their shopping?
No. Has everybody started their shopping?
No.
No, I got my my Rodax coffee holiday packs. The Rodax holiday packs went out, which was good. But other than that, no, man, I'm going to plan like tomorrow night, Wednesday morning. Mm-hmm. I think me and MrAmazon.com are going to sit down, and I'm going to send out all my stuff like I do every year.
You know what? You guys talk about that Rodax stuff. I'm going to have to try some of that. The coffee.
You have yet to try the Rodax coffee. Here's what you do. You need to call Marvin and do the holiday pack and get the hot sauce and the spice rub and the coffee and, have it be a gift for yourself for the holidays.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Get it for somebody special. You know what I mean, Joe?
Get it for Mama Seelig and then just kind of have some of it.
Go.
Yeah, Mrs. G always yells at me because she says that I am very difficult to purchase stuff for because whenever I want something, I just get it. And so, it's not like, oh, yeah, I'll wait to get that for my birthday or for Christmas. And so she claims that it's difficult to buy for me. I'm like, just don't buy me anything. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. Nothing for you.
Get you a gift card. That way you can go buy what you want afterward, maybe.
Cash money, baby.
That's it.
Cash money. Just put that cash in my hand. No, I got a gift card today. I got a gift card for $100 from Amazon for my aunt. And I thought about just using that to buy gifts for other people, but I decided that is not
like regifting.
That's not in the spirit of the gift. So I have something I'm already thinking about getting. And I will share that with the audience because, listen, here's the thing, Jay. We got this Marvin Rodak, of course, and I have been using the same DeLonghi espresso maker for the better part of 10 years. And it was gifted to me by Giovanni and Mrs. Giovanni.
Whoa, what did Mrs. Gio had to do with that?
Well, you guys gave it to me. Actually,
I gave it to you.
You were going to bring it back to the store, and he said, do you want this thing? And I was like, yeah. And it was like, it's decent. But, man, I have put literally like thousands of gallons of coffee through this little thing, and it's fine. It's fine. But now with all these K-Cups and all these things, it's like regular coffee, American coffee, all these different coffees coming out now, I was thinking, maybe it's time to graduate to a better coffee maker, right? And so there's this, I think it's a Cuisinart Coffee Center. All right? And so what it is
Okay.
it's two different coffee things. It's got like the K-cup thing on the one side for single coffee, and then on the other side, it makes 12 cups. But then how am I going to make my espresso? This isn't going to work. So I need to figure out a multi-coffee center that I can get so I can make my espresso, I can do single-serve K-cups, and a large batch of coffee for a monster crew of people. Do you know anything like that, Jay?
No, the last pot we had had a similar situation. You could make espressos, it could make 12 cups of coffee, but couldn't make single serve cups.
I need the K-cup, man. I think that thing is pretty cool. I need to do that. Here it is. Cuisinart Coffee Center, $170.
Whoa.
Yeah.
To do all three?
No, just the two. Single serve and 12 cups of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I need to figure out something that's going to do. It's got to do the espresso, Gio. What if we don't do? We got to have the espresso. See, my whole thing is to get appliances off the counter. That's really what I'm shooting for here. I need to get things off the counter. Yeah, here it is. At Williams and Sonoma, the same thing. It's like $220. Suggested retail price, $415. Their price, $229. No, man, that's not happening. You know, that's
no,
not
definitely
happening.
not.
That's not happening. Okay, what else, Jay? What else have you got on the gift list?
Well, we live about 10. What's nice thing since we moved to Arizona? We don't live too far from Wild Horse Pass. So, we look forward to testing when they get here, and then the Arizona Nationals when they come.
You're going to be at the Arizona Nationals?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's great. That is so great. You'll be able to take that in. You and Mama Selig out there. Is she going to make her patented cookies?
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes, she will. Yes. Especially for you guys.
Oh, that's great.
I'm taking your order there, Joe. What do you like?
Whatever. I'm not ordering anything. Whatever. I don't even know if I'm going to be alive at that point, so I don't want to get too far ahead of myself.
No, you got to think positively, Joe. One day at a time.
That is
when you're breathing.
No, so true.
You know what I mean?
Yes, so true. Life is a fickle thing. Well,
I look forward to hearing tomorrow night's WFO show, and that, it was sad to hear Dick LaHaye's passing. Remember when he won his Top Fuel title in '87?
Yes.
With Joe Amato, that was a great battle. That was awesome. It was great guy, great driver.
Well, that was like
hard to miss.
Young Joe was 14 years old at that time, and like at the pinnacle close to the pinnacle of my drag racing childhood fandom. I was right in the middle of it all. Of course, I was a Darrell Gwynn fan. And Garlitz, and I like Joe Amato. I like Dick LaHaye. I got to say, though, I was probably rooting for Amato in that. But I know, no disrespect to Dick LaHaye, and to me, the way I watch the modern guys, like the Nicky Bonifani and the Jim Oberhofer and the Jono, and the people that come from the Dick LaHaye tree, Larry Dixon, and the people that come from the Dick LaHaye tree of crew chiefing are all A+. They're all great. They're the people who are, the bosses of the sport right now. And so that tells you all you need to know.
Mm-hmm. What kind of a guy he was, and what a good friend he was to them, to pass along that knowledge and all of that good stuff,
Exactly.
Well, you too. You have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Joe. Look forward to tomorrow night's show. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Jay. Appreciate the tenacity. There he goes. Jay Selig, everybody. Jay Selig. So I've put this vehicle that I have up on OfferUp and Let Go.
Okay.
And I've lowered the price to $3,150.
Wow, what a bargain.
Right. And I have received a couple. The problem with these apps is someone is like, is it available? Except I'm doing the show, and I missed the text that says, is it available? And so I respond, and now the guy is asleep. And this guy, can you do some finance, like hold the title until I finish paying you? The car, I love it. I get paid every week on Wednesday. And the answer is no, man, I'm not doing that. I can do title. But see, like, what would Bo tell me right now? I should do it, right? I should do it, except tell him the price is $4,500. I should finance him with, like, what? Like 8%.
Are you a bank? Are you in the banking business?
I am not in the banking
Okay,
business.
so then
I'm not a bank.
No, let him put it on a credit card or something if he needs to do that. That's not your problem.
Do I take credit cards?
Well, they get paid through PayPal or something if he wants, so yes.
Yeah, but he's got to have the PayPal money to do it.
Well,
That's it. It's over. You're out. I said I'd rather not. I'm sorry. I responded already.
It's not even I'd rather not. It's just sorry. No, I'm, not in the lending business.
I am not in the lending business. Maybe I need to get into the lending business. Maybe that's where all the money is.
Yeah, well, it actually is, yes.
this one car that I'm selling. Do we have any other final points as we close this holiday episode? I've revealed to the audience that I want a coffee maker.
Is that what's on your Christmas list?
No, really, it doesn't even need to make 12 cups of coffee, because that rarely happens. But I would like to be able to do espresso on one half, single-serve K-cups on the other. That's most of the lion's share of what happens around here.
So why don't you just get one of those, like, $100 K-cup machines?
Because then how do I get my espresso?
You get one of those, like, $10...
No, I gotta have two. I gotta have two coffee. What's the point of that?
Well, you get one of those like little Italian espresso.
I have it
makers.
already. I have that.
Well, then that's it. I don't understand what this whole need is.
No, I want to have a device that has like multiple options for me.
Oh well, all right.
There's that. It's got to be out there. Coffee Emporium. What else? We've covered the hustle and bustle news of the day of the NASCAR world. We don't want to talk too much NHRA because that'll steal all my material for NHRA Nitro.
Yeah, no, we don't want to do that.
Yeah. We talked about the nanotechnology, how they can take a laser beam and some gelatin and turn big things into little things, which is a little surprising and scary.
Yeah, wait till they try it on someone.
We didn't really do a big top 10 list of the greatest things that happened in 2018 because I'm sure that's Gio's best of material. Putting together the best ofs.
Yeah, I don't understand how that would happen, but
the Stern Show on the holidays when they're like, hey, this is Gio. Remember in January when the guys talked about this, and then plays it.
Oh, I guess
that was a great moment. Yeah, and then later in the season, this has happened. What happened when? Grammy Award winner.
I got to tell you, I would have no clue what goes on in the Stern Show anymore. Ever since he went off terrestrial radio, I must have heard his show maybe a handful of times at most.
I have the Sirius XM app because they made me a real killer deal. Like, honestly, like $2.99 a month or something. And I have it on my app, and I have never clicked on it. And I like Stern, but I feel just so out of the loop with it that... what's the point? I should go listen to Caps be on it, though. Caps was on the deal. Howard Stern, one of the icons of radio. You remember Private Parts came out, and he was a big thing. But see, to me, we're Miami people, man. We're Neelys. Stern was not the thing down here.
Well, he was on. We heard him.
He came late. There was Neil. There was Phil Hendry. There was Ron and Ron. We had our own things down here. Stern existed. Of course, we knew of Howard Stern. Howard Stern, yeah, okay, the guy, yeah, Howard Stern, New York, wow, Stern. But we had our own different sense of humor down here. It was different. And and to this day, things that play here don't necessarily play other places. And things that play in other places definitely don't play here. We've got our own vibe. Look at Le Batard. Le Batard's doing real well. Right, that's Miami, but he's got his own Miami thing, and they were like he's successful because it was like, wow, this is very different. He's very different compared to the typical national types. I go to New York every now and again, or I'm in the Northeast, and I put on the news, right? I put on the regular news, and I see the news, and I see the people that are on the news, and I'm like, wow, these people are really ugly. Like, how are people so unattractive on television in New York City? Because in Miami and South Florida, and it's I don't mean to be superficial, I know it's going to sound pretty terrible, but it's just a fact of life. You cannot be horrifically unattractive and be on TV. Actually, there's a couple. But they were attractive way back in the day, and now they're kind of morphed and warped into whatever they are in their slightly old age with a little plastic surgery.
No, and they have a few of those people that aren't,
the benchmark
highly attractive on the TV. But generally speaking, like here in L.A., you get the very attractive people on the TV, on the newscast, on the weather girl.
Absolutely, the weather girl.
The meteorologist girl.
Right.
Because, they are meteorologists, most of the ones.
Of course they're meteorologists.
Like Julie Durda.
Yeah. Jackie Johnson came through here.
Yes. No, there have been a long list of very prestigious weather meteorologists in the local area.
The point, though, is that Stern is still doing his thing. It's still the Howard Stern show, except it has profanity. They use open profanity now, which is fine.
And I think they're only on a few times a week now. They're not on every day or something.
Come on, the guy's got an unbelievable sweetheart deal. Like because he's, I'm going to retire, that's it. And he's old.
Well, that he is too, yeah. No, I mean, he's been doing this for, 30, 40 years now.
See, it's a shame that Race Guitar has gone now, and I was a little distracted at the point he was on because I could have asked him about the Rolling Stones and whether or not they rock at 78 years old.
The Rolling Stones' music still rocks, but I find it very difficult to believe that the Rolling Stones concert is going to be the same as insert... whatever popular band is out there now,
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, again, a band that hasn't played in 20 years. But, yes, as a Justin Tinkerbell concert.
I don't think he's like a cutting-edge talent right this second either.
Oh, I disagree.
Yeah, Tinkerbell?
I would disagree. Well, it's not that he has to be the cutting edge, but there's no way that the Stones can rock at 80 like the 30-year-old performer. I'm just not buying it.
Race Guitar
and not
says
even
they
the
do.
30-year-old Stones.
He says you're wrong.
What?
That's even missed opportunity.
Oh, please. The guys like Race Guitar and Richard Saugus go to this concert, and they're not half the guy that they were back in the day when they were doing the mosh pit and whatever else they did at those concerts either.
Poor Richard Saugus there just minding his own business.
They're standing there doing
listening
to
the Ignition holiday party, and all of a sudden his mortality and old age is brought to his attention. Why? The poor guy.
That's what it is.
He's minding his
They're all remembering the 70s and 80s Stones, and now they're like 70 and 80 themselves, and they're over there fist pumping, where they're no longer doing a mosh or anything like that, and they think it's still rocking, and it's not. It's not. I'm sorry. There's no way in the world that 70 or 8-year-old Keith Richards is rocking a 3-hour concert like he did when he was 35 years old.
That's not what Race Guitar said.
Well?
He says they're great.
Yeah, the Rolling Stones are great, but I'm not interested in going to see them in concert any longer because they are like the Rolling Stones' grandparents.
You're an ageist.
At this point. That's not Mick Jagger. That's his granddad up there. That's who it is.
Not really, man. Because his granddad did not. There was no electric guitar, and for his granddad, it was probably barely electric.
Chuck, it's me, Marvin.
Marvin Berry. Yeah, the ageism bothers me a little bit, but whatever. That's your thing.
It's not ageism, man.
Sure it is.
No.
Yes.
It's a fact of life. I'm sorry.
No, man, there's old people who do great things all the time, every day.
That's fine, but not like they did when they were 40. Just a fact. Jimmy Johnson is not the driver now that he was 15 years ago.
Playing music, you can be great in music and be old.
There's Ace Frehley is not rocking the guitar like he did in the 70s.
Dude, Beethoven did his best stuff as an old person.
Actually, I think you're wrong about that one.
I don't know. It just kind of sounded good.
He was a child prodigy, remember?
Oh. No, that was Mozart.
Whatever.
See?
Amadeus.
That's Falco. How does that pop up? All right, let's... Oh, there it is. It's Speaking of one of the classics. All right. Just walking the line, man. Walking right up to it. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. We're just trying to close in on the 2-hour mark, and we've got there now, so we feel comfortable. I want to thank everybody.
Well, we're really close. Well, why don't you thank our great sponsors again?
Everybody knows our great sponsors, like aerospacecomponents.com and roadaxecoffeeandgrills.com and Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School and catspotlitter.com. A great gift for the missus for the holidays. Hey, sweetie.
Performance. Did you go by the Hangsterfirst booth at PRI?
I did. I raced against Matt Sackman in the drag racing simulator. He defeated me. Yeah.
What's the matter? Your timing is not as great as when you were 22 years old?
No, I think that he knows how to use the machine a little bit better than I do because he sat around there all day playing on it. And then I come walking up, and I was barely beaten. And I think with a little more practice, I think I could handle Mr. Sackman pretty well. And we did a 2 out of 3, and I won one, but then I lost the next. And he did go 004 when he needed it. Motorsportsguys.com, Aerospace Components, Hangsterfirst, of course, samtech.edu, Frank Hawley, Roadax. These people are the people that make WFO possible, especially NHRA Nitro. This show is really kind of an add-on show because we like to talk to the audience. And have had, I would say this offseason hasn't been the best ever, but we're keeping it going.
Well, slow down.
It hasn't been the best ever.
Just like the Stones, we're getting better with age. Every show is better. We're better. We're rocking.
Listen, while we are rocking from time to time, maybe not this particular episode, but we are rocking. But yeah, man, some things get better with age.
Yeah, usually cheese and wine.
Yes, and musicians and rock bands. Rock bands. Look at Kiss, by the way. They're getting older and older.
They're not better now.
Oh, you didn't see them when they were in their prime anyway. How would you know?
I saw them in the 80s.
Yeah, they were old then. What, on their first farewell tour?
Well, I can't imagine that they're any better now. There's a reason why they threw Ace Frehley out of the band.
Well, some people, they can't hang. That's true. But there are anomalies.
All right.
You know who else gets better with age?
You pay the $400 to go see the
Scientists.
Stones.
No, well,
well, you see, that's different because that is something that's a mental aspect. You can't possibly perform physically for hours on end at the same rate in your 70s that you did when you were 20 or 30 years old. Not happening.
But you don't have to do that to rock. Running around. It's about more than running around.
So what? So just sit there on a rocking chair now?
Not a rocking chair. Why's it got to be a rocking chair?
Just a chatter.
Why can't it be a bench or a stool? Why can't he be leaning up against like a faux light pole or something, part of the stagecraft? Something that's woven into the whole deal.
David Lee Roth isn't coming around and doing those jumps any longer.
I saw old David Lee Roth, and he was great.
Barely has hair anymore.
And most importantly to this whole exercise is that my great friend Robert suggests that he might be able to get us in there for free. And he's like, would you go? I was like, yes, I will go.
Well,
Rolling Stones.
Free, that's a different story.
Free, baby. But you're not going because you dissed them. You don't get to see the free Stones
stuff.
Because you dissed the Stones, man.
I'm not dissing the Stones as an entity and as the greatness of their band, historically speaking.
Dissing old people.
I am dissing the fact that the 70-plus-year-olds are out there on the tour and charging
$450
for the cheap seats.
It's pricey. If that's your argument, I'm not arguing against that. It's expensive.
That's it. That's all I'm saying.
But see, you know what? I just got the dates for Frankie Valli, February 14th and 15th, Valentine's Day and the day after, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, which is not really, you're not expecting Frank to rock. Like, I don't know what you're going to your music escapades for, to watch guys jump around in spandex. But that's not where I am going. I'm going to see a nice performer do a nice performance. But Frankie Valli doesn't run around in spandex.
I don't think even the rock bands wear the spandex any longer.
They're not what?
I don't know.
They're not wearing spandex.
So. No, I just think they wear regular clothes now.
Yeah, like Kiss without the makeup. Remember that?
Yeah, those were horrible
guys,
years. That's why they just...
That didn't work. Yeah, we won't have the makeup. It'll be great. No, it won't. No, it won't. All right, Gio, what are you thankful for on this great conclusion to the 2018 season of Ignition? This is...
Well, I'm thankful for my fantasy team coming through, hanging on.
God,
and stealing victory from the grasps of defeat.
Yeah, that was a big thing. That's definitely the biggest thing that happened on this show.
As close can be. It was a disappointing performance by my team.
Genuine
emotion.
But
it was an even more disappointing performance by the number 1 seed who had an 11-2 record and has now fallen in the championship game, and my team has advanced to the Super Bowl.
More
in
importantly,
the SoBe Fantasy
which
League.
is fantastic, but more importantly, we, as in me and the WFO audience, all got to witness what Buttlock is really all about. Because
the dirty pants.
You went from you were sending texts. There was the other side of the Miami Miracle right there, except you got to pull it out in the end.
Yeah, well, I try to pull it out always at the end.
You had one.
Well, it looked like the victory was there,
and then
the game was about to end.
Some crazy stuff happened, and all of a sudden, they're going the other direction. And it was really fun to watch. That's the kind of thing. What I should have done is broken out my camera and video.
You should have been taping me, huh?
You would have been angry. You would have cursed at me.
Possibly.
In the moment, you would have definitely been. You'd have been because it was a little uncomfortable in here.
I got a little,
quiet.
I got a little upset.
We had race guitar on the line to lighten it up, but it got a little hairy in here. Oh my gosh! And if that had happened, that's it. Oh, it's over. You lose. Oh,
don't even start with that.
The show
that would have been a bad beat, but I mean, again, bad beat, but not bad beat. I was a heavy underdog, and I pulled out the victory.
It would have been a bad beat, very terrible experience.
Yes, because in the end, I was winning and was holding on to the lead,
and on the air for all of it.
Oh, it was.
All right, everybody, that's going to do it. We wish you the best. Thank you for listening to our show. We appreciate it. You guys are great. 2019 right around the corner. Got some great stuff planned. We've got some great stuff that is not yet planned, but I'm sure it'll be great. Spend time with your families. Take some time off. Of course, listen to the shows, click to the shows. Follow in with Matt Smith and Brian McClanahan, and Kevin McKenna is coming on the show tomorrow, and Alan Reinhardt and everybody. And if you have made it through this, we just gobbled up 2 more hours of the final work week of 2018.
Whoa, final work week for the show.
Well, for them out there, too.
People are working.
They're not working between Christmas and New Year's. I don't believe that
everybody's off from this Friday until January 3rd or 2nd.
Yeah, people are off between Christmas and New Year's.
Nah,
unless you're working retail.
Have a few days off, but I think most people will be back to work.
On what? All right, they're off on Christmas.
I don't know. I'm having a difficult time believing
the truckers are trucking.
The vast majority of the people will get off of work this Friday and don't have to go back to work till January 2nd. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a disconnect with me, but hey, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm working. I mean, I'll be off Monday and Tuesday, but...
But you work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
Yeah.
Or are you doing long weekend?
No, I work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, both weeks.
There it is. This is the perfect thing. You're working. Not me, man.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Yeah, no, I already used up all my PTO.
I don't know what that is.
Personal time off.
Well, there you go, buddy.
Well, it's in my job, it's use it or lose it. So, you can't save them for next year. So you got to use them. And so I used them all up in the last few weeks. I've basically been working 4 days a week for the last month. But
wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. All you kids out there. PTO.
PTO, baby.
Now you know what it's all about.
And
all right,
holidays.
everybody. WFO, Merry New Year, and have a happy.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays to y'all.
The views and opinions of the hosts, guests, or callers do not necessarily reflect that of the station ownership, advertisers, or agencies.
Yeah, welcome to the party.
Bye, bye, bye.